Varsity Club, welcome back to another classic. Last week was a string of super close games. Of the last 4 games that we played, not a single one has been a score difference of more than 7. We narrowly squeaked one out in the last episode, and good lord, we got to play number 10 Nebraska today. Now, the good news is, if there is any good news, that we're actually playing them at home, so that gives us a little bit of an advantage, but they've got a really good free safety, a really good wide receiver, but then they have no one else above 90 overall. Their quarterback, Richard Gillette, we've seen before, is 89 overall with solid speed, pretty good arm. This dude's interesting, okay? But they don't really have anybody that's crazy good. Their best running back is an 82 overall sophomore with 96 speed, but again, we've been run over by literally everybody, so I'm not even going to make any comments about their running back. What has me excited, though, is that they have a senior who's an 86, a sophomore who's an 84, and then everyone else is below 80 overall into the 70s. This means that potentially we could pick on their safeties and their corners a little bit. Well, obviously not their free safety because he's insane, but maybe their strong safety, Kyle Carter, who's only 80 overall. There's potential here for us to do some stuff in the passing game, but good lord, we got to try. Now, in some relatively good news for us, we locked up 3 recruits last week. Aiden Bailey, who's a kicker, Kendall Owens, who's a left end, and then Patrick McDonald, an athlete who we assume is going to be a quarterback, and he should be a pretty good one at that. And this week, we've got a couple of guys visiting. We have Scotty Drayton, Cody Tanner Blair, Braxton Bickley, and George Fry. There's a whole lot of different things we had to say there. But if you look, Cody Tanner Blair is a tackle that we're a little bit behind on. If you look at the top schools portion, he just had his visit to Boise State. That went really well, but with our visit only being down 800 points and considering how much more we're gaining per week than Boise State, I think we'll be fine here. George Fry, I think, is shaping up to be a really good middle linebacker potentially for us, and if we look at what he ultimately has here, we are in a very good spot. Basically, we should be able to lock him up this week as long as we have a good visit. We get more than 500 points, we're probably getting him pretty much locked up and ready to go. Bickley, we're pretty much in the driver's seat. You can see that we're 2,400 points ahead of Nebraska, but again, a loss that could obviously shake that up a little bit. Scotty Drayton, another guy that we're in the lead by 2,700 points as a defensive end. I feel pretty good about these guys. And just really quickly, in terms of where we rank from our recruiting class, we're sitting at number 11. Again, there's some work to be done. Literally, NC State is having a better recruiting class than us. Our 3-star, what is happening? Okay, we got to step it up. The college football playoff poll dropped this week, and you're seeing the first official rankings for that. Notre Dame at 1, Miami at 2, Clemson at 3, Arizona State at 4, your boy at 5. Okay, our university sitting there at number 5, which is great, ahead of the team up north, which is also great news. Beating number 10 Nebraska today, I think, guarantees us being in the top 3. No matter what happens in front of us, we should be there. As for the rest of the teams, Florida State, USC, Nebraska, and Alabama are going to be there in your top 10. Again, Nebraska is 10 in the coaches poll, but number 9 in the actual college football playoff poll. Ohio State made it back up to 12. LSU's in the top 20 now. Auburn, South Carolina, Purdue, Oklahoma, and Boise State are all sitting there for the back end of your top 25. And then, of course, the Heisman vote. You know who's got the top vote right now? Your boy Jason Barr, still there, trying to become the first back-to-back winner in college football in a very, very long time. You got Robinson, Turner, Brown, and Douglas all behind him. But again, Boise State's making a push, and so is this Robinson kid. But so far, Barr's been able to hold him off. The amount of inclement weather games we've had recently has just been unbelievable and through the roof. And I'm tired of it personally, okay? One could argue this is also part of the problem when you live in the Akron, Ohio area, that you're going to be having a whole lot of rain, a whole lot of wet stuff, okay? Snow, rain, all that stuff, that's a lot of a problem. And look at Jason Barr somehow get that first down despite having a concussion. First down, Thornton under center. Immediate blitz, but he hits Jeremy Willis, and the big fella's out here trucking people over and nearly breaks that tackle 22 yards later. Thornton makes a quick little adjustment here on 1st and 10. He sees it, he's pressured, he's out here rolling. Look at the young fella stretch his legs. Cedric Thornton is going to get tackled, but good lord, what a play. The big game plan we've heard from Nebraska all week is that they're going to be blitzing and testing the offensive line and see what ultimately happens when Thornton has a little bit of pressure. They think that he's going to turn it over when he has some pressure, but he's bound to say he's not turning it over today. 2nd and 9. Little funky formation here, going to hand it off to Stewart, and if he just had one block, the man might still be dancing. 3rd down, 12 yards to go. It's been a pretty solid first drive. We don't want it to end here. Jason Barr tries to go somewhere, but he's not going to get quite what he wants. 6 yards, we needed 6 more on top of that. It's a field goal coming up. Kirk Hancock, one of the best kickers in the nation, trying to win the Kicker of the Year award for what would be the first time in Cascade Valley history. Drills out when it's up, it's good. We got the lead. Not a great one, but a lead. And we've seen what we can do on offense, but what can we do on defense, which has been, again, one of our biggest issues all season. Look at Gillette trying to get things started when we get him after 5. 2nd and 5 again. We got to watch this Nebraska rushing attack. They've been doing it for so long. Good lord, this quarterback's trying to get something. He jukes him weight out of his shoes. Bobby Edwards brings him down, but he gets the first. Nebraska's offense looking pretty good, especially in the ground, but can they actually pass against Cascade Valley? Their quarterback is trying, but we nearly took his head off, and he slides for 1. Well, 2nd and 9. We're keying 100% on the run. We're staying in man right now, so everyone has their assignment. We just got to make sure that somebody's watching this quarterback quarterback, but the running back is bursting out here, and 82 overall sophomore goes for 16. 1st and 10, Vaughn moves in motion in the backfield. Gillette, who's been slippery all day today, gets tackled by Fowler, but again, he's finding positive gains each time. The struggle is absolutely real right now. Gillette has been finding ways to get all over this defense, but we're trying to find ways to put pressure on him, and there we did. And the beauty of that play is that he tried to go for a little pass there. His first of the game, it did not work. We're watching here again. He's got an opportunity to float one up here. Fowler has it off his fingertips. Can't quite get it, but it just works out as well. 4th and 4, they got a punt. Now they do opt to punt. That ball ends up going in the end zone for a touchback, so we've got the ball from our own 20 to start what should be hopefully a fruitful drive. You're seeing a lot of focus from Nebraska on getting guys up in the box, making sure we can't really run the football on the inside, which is again where our bread and butter has kind of sort of been these last couple of years. RJ Riley can't go anywhere, and again they are watching what we're doing and they're reading like a book. Lining our guys up here in a big 3rd down and 11. Do not want to go 3 and out, but our guys are not looking great at the moment. Thornton sets his feet, comes back across his body, and look at Jeremy Willis get another big grab for 28. We haven't really had the breakout seasons. I mean, Tom Baker really had the last breakout season. A lot of guys have been asking where he is. He's on the field. We just haven't really been able to get him the football. But we've had some guys make some plays. It's just not, unfortunately, the plays we want for as many yards as some of these guys may be accustomed to in offenses. With the focus on our run game, which has really been, I think, our bread and butter overall, how we've been able to take our guys and just find lanes for them and make sure we spread the ball around. We've really become a balanced offense, which means wide receiver production's down. Still, that being said, we've got to find ways to get the ball in playmakers' hands. Make sure that they're out there and they can do something and also not take a sack. 3rd and 6 from 1 for 2 on 3rd down conversions. We're still pretty much, I would argue, in field goal territory for Kirk Hancock, but again, we'd love to get a touchdown finally. Thornton feeling the pressure. Whites that linebacker in, and it's Jeremy Willis, another one. It's inside the red zone this time. You're seeing a fantastic job of Thornton of just baiting this defense a little bit, finding out what they're trying to do and saying, you know what, you think I'm running? I'm going to dump it right off. Barr picks up, honestly, one of his longest runs of the game today, which is weird considering he only went for about 5 or 6 yards. We're right back at it again. Barr going up the middle. He gets the 1st down nearly into the end zone. Under a minute left here in the 1st quarter. We're trying to get in the end zone for the first time today. Barr going behind his lineman. He's there, and he's in the end zone. 5-yard touchdown run. Not pretty, not fancy, not highlight worthy, but it still counts all the same. The pressure now mounts for Nebraska. How can they respond? We got a field goal on our first drive. We answer back with a touchdown, and then we get a great little spot there by Barr. Excuse me, we got Jason Barr on our brain right now. That was actually going to be Jay Coleman making a nice little spot there in the middle. Just make sure that pass goes for nothing. Nebraska again going with the run here to their sophomore running back, but we stop him after only 1. A lot of pressure mounting for Nebraska. They've had some really bad drives to go at this point. Some movement here and there, but it goes nowhere again. They're punting for the 3rd time already today in the 1st quarter. They're in shambles. Mike Hemphill has not had a punt return for a touchdown in what feels like forever. We're waiting to see what he can actually do out here. This is going to be kicked. Pretty deep punt. Gets us inside about the 25 or so. Hemphill's going to field it. Looks for some blocks. Cuts back a little bit. Doesn't find the seam, but still, we'll take the 9. 1st and 10 here again. Thornton ready to get another good drive going. Dumps one underneath here to Tom Baker. Mr. CTE picks up 2. Right back here in 2nd down, going to the run game. Barr waiting for his carry. He's going to take one, find some good gains. Absolutely gets destroyed by his shoulder, but he's okay. 3rd down, 3 yards to go. Both running backs in the game. Little play action. Right across the middle is Tom Baker, who again is trying not to get a concussion, but good Lord will take the 10. Thornton's had a beautiful game so far. He's been slow, methodical, finding guys open, not really forcing anything too much, I'd say, at this point. Thornton always feeling a little bit of pressure here. Sees the guy, throws, and speaking of forcing one, then we definitely force one there. 2nd and 10, Thornton stays in shotgun. Got his guys across the middle. It's RJ Riley who gets a big gain this time at 16. Heavy set in the backfield, going with a little halfback counter here. Literally, we would expect Sean Stewart to throw a block, but he had no business and no idea how to do it. Are you kidding me? 2nd and 13. Underneath is looking great. Tom Baker jukes into 32 and nearly dies because of it. Barr actually has a strained pectoral. He is going to return soon, but for now, Sean Stewart comes in, and you know what? We don't really miss too much when Stewart comes in, but we aren't able to get the 1st down. Halfback screens have now worked against Nebraska, and we're kicking a field goal yet again. This one will be a 43-yard field goal. Again, this is more than capable for Kirk Hancock, one of the best kickers in the nation. Beautifully kicked down the middle, drills, and we got a 13-point lead. It's been one of the best first halves of football we've played in a while. I feel like the last couple of first halves we've been pretty terrible, but now we're at least seeing the offensive defense click a little bit. 2nd and inches, Sapp nearly got all the way last time. Vaughn comes back in the backfield. They're running a lot of read options there. Gillette cuts up a little bit, gets hit hard, but he does find a 1st. Nebraska finally trying to get things going on offense. Look, they've been pretty bad so far today. Gillette, again, has been the one bright spot for them. And outside of that, no one else has really stepped up. Sapp's had a couple of runs, but they just can't get the passing game going. And I honestly feel like if they're going to beat us today, they have to be able to pass the football. They can't pass the football, we'll be just fine. Gillette says, I like to think differently. That one takes a bootleg out to the left-hand side. On the read option, Tim Wade brings him down, but again, he continues to destroy this defense. First time in the red, or nearly in the red zone. Cornhuskers fake a little jet sweep. They go up the middle to Lawson. Lawson looking for some room. Takes that tackle from Bernard Harvey. Says, I don't care. And we're going to see DeMel Hill bring him down inside the 5. Things starting to get super tough right now. First and goal. Watching the running back here. They got a couple of guys set up. We're keen on Gillette. And what a big-time tackle for loss of 3. Bernard Harvey had a tackle shook off of him the previous drive, or the previous play, and comes out here and gets a big one there to stop him. We're moving guys around. We're staying with the QB spy. They're actually passing for once. I mean, literally all the time in the world, DeMel Hill gets burned that by Nate James. 2 first names. You hate to see it, but a touchdown for Nebraska nonetheless. 3 minutes left here in the first half. We're nursing a 6-point lead. Getting points here is absolutely huge. Whether it's a field goal, touchdown, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be big. And Jason Barr does check back in the game after hurting his pectoral earlier in the game. 2nd and 3. Little play action. Underneath, that one is rightfully broken up. The run game has been a little bit tough today. We're going to try to stretch things out a little bit. See what we got here. Thornton takes his time. Immediately, though, feels the pressure. He's going to bootleg out to the right-hand side all the time in the world. He's going to get down around the 50 because we don't want to take any bad tackles, hits, and may cause a fumble. Keeping it moving. 2 minutes and some change now. Gold slides back to the left, comes back over. Barr finds some room here, but runs into his own man, and what would have been a first down ends up being a chunk of change. 2 minutes is finally hit. Immediately, Thornton absolutely blitzed up the middle. We didn't really have the protection for it, and it's 3rd and long coming up. Not something you technically want to see right now. Watching your offensive line give up a big play like that is never fun, never good. Thornton immediately feels that pressure again. He's got a guy going deep, but he gets hit as he throws it. That one falls incomplete, thank God, and we're punting. One of the things that I'm super proud of is the fact that punts have been few and far between for us. We honestly had a really good punt here from our punter, and all of a sudden, you see what Nebraska can do. Coleman trying to get a stop, and we're going to see a big-time stop after 1. We've had our low moments of man defense, but right now our man defense is locking them up right now. The 2 high safety look has been great, and we're going to continue to stick with it until they prove us that really they can do something else with it. But what a hit on that one. Dwayne Cole might wear number 3, but good Lord, he might give you 3 concussions a game. What an unbelievable hit to get a stop there. Big 3rd and 5. Nebraska's going to opt to go for it. We had a guy sitting right there ready for him. And we're going to call a timeout because Coach Mervin McMervin thinks points are on the horizon. Davy Jones in his famous locker with a big stop there. We're going to see Hemphill back here with 4th and 7. 30 seconds left on the clock. If he can get at least a little bit of a return here, we've got a chance to get, again, that field goal or a touchdown or something big. And Hemphill cuts it back to the left-hand side, looking for a block. Hemphill's got some room. Hemphill cuts it, gets hit by the punter, unfortunately, but what a way to set this team up for a great drive. It wasn't a touchdown. We talked about Hemphill and his punt return ability, but good Lord, was that a great one. The fans of Cascade Valley were standing up here in Akron, ready to see something big happen, and they didn't quite see what they maybe wanted to see, but it was still a great play nonetheless. Thornton feels the pressure. He does get out of bounds, and he wanted to throw it, but rather safe than sorry. Big 2nd and 4, 12 seconds left. We got all of our timeouts. Gold is there, but Bryant picks that off. Bryant was ready for it, and our dreams of getting points on the board, they fall by the wayside. Great read, great play, but not for us. Nebraska ultimately has 1 play here. They're going to try to lob one deep. We've got our guys basically in 3-man deep, ready to go. Going to get a little bit of pressure on Gillette. He throws one early. We got a couple of guys there. This one's going to be picked off by Dwayne Cole, who had a nasty hit earlier. Gets an interception, but it's inconsequential at this point. Yes, we got the pick. That's great, but we missed out on points at the end of the half, and that's what sucks. So going into halftime with a 6-point lead, again, we wish it was 16 points total for us, or maybe a little bit more, but we got to settle what we got. Nebraska does come out here in the second half with the ball first, and we'll see what they can ultimately do. Again, it wasn't a very kind first half for them, but offensively, they're looking a whole lot better to start the second. Gillette threw a fantastic pass there. We'll see what he can do here. Likely expect them to go back to the run. The QB keeper, they end up pitching this one out. Bobby Evers trying to chase him down. Dwayne Cole is there, and we end up seeing Sapp after 6. A little bit of an overload blitz coming on the right-hand side. They go across the middle, though, and we just cannot cover them all of a sudden in the second half. What is happening to our defense? Stephen Lowe's going to change here in the QB spy. We've been doing a lot of 3-man fronts. We're probably going to switch that up. He's testing deep, but that one's out of bounds. Where only a cameraman can get to it. 2nd and 10, Gillette makes a little adjustment. They're going to keep this one over here in the edge. Coleman and company are ready for it, and they bring him down after only 3. 3rd and 7 coming up. One stat that I'm super proud of is that they have not converted a single 3rd down against us today, which is fantastic. Considering how bad we've been on 3rd downs over the years, that's a W. This one's thrown underneath. Jeremy Gross is ready and stops him, making it 4th and 4. Nebraska's going to line to kick one here. Pretty decent yards in this one, but should be makeable for their kicker, who again is a pretty solid one. And Bill jumps up at the top of the pile. This one's weighing left, but it comes back a little bit. It settles, and that cuts the lead to 3. our first time with the ball in the second half. We would like to get something positive out of it. Jason Barr again, who got a little banged up today, gets a solid start. That would have been 9, but he falls back on him for 7. We definitely tried the run game a little bit more in the first half, but it just didn't pan out the way we sort of wanted it to. But we've got to be a little bit more selective. By the looks of it, Nebraska's letting up that run game big time. I think what ultimately helped is how good our pass game looked at the first half, especially there before that interception we threw. But you got to look. Okay, Nebraska, we see you. We absolutely see you. A super important game that Thornton was vowing to not turn the ball over. Unfortunately, it's turned into 2 interceptions today, and things are getting spicy all of a sudden. What are we going to be able to do here? We've got to fix this ASAP. That was obviously a risky pass. We thought that linebacker might have rubbed off or maybe went the other way potentially on that, but we were unbelievably, absolutely, positively incorrect. But we were correct here as we get Sean Stewart on the 29-yard grab. Jason Barr lining up the QB here. He's going to bring Willis over in motion. He's going to try to pass it. He fumbles. Jones is going to pick it up, and Nebraska is on one heck of a streak. Field goal, touchdown, and then another touchdown. James Jones. You hate to see it. The best possible news for us, though, is that they are going to be challenging this one because, good Lord, I didn't think that was going to be a fumble. It looks like his elbow, knee, everything's pretty much on the ground before that ball comes out. I don't think it's going to be a fumble. I think it's ultimately going to be coming back to watch to see his elbow hit. The ball then pops out. This should be overturned. We should have the ball back, and we should not nearly be needing to cry as much from the comments in this video. While it's great the play got reversed, it's not great looking at the yardage we have to make up here. Or the fact that our offensive line is struggling in this second half. 4 for 7 on third down conversions. We need to basically pass our driver's test to be able to get this one. 3rd and 16. Thornton looking for literally anything, and he has to get rid of it. The pass protection is abysmal. These guys are getting mauled by Nebraska's defensive line, and we're down 4 punting the ball. Finding ourselves in one of those games where we just need our guys to do something on defense. Force a turnover, a fumble, an interception, something. We need that ball back without them scoring. Nebraska goes a little bubble screen here. Bernard Harvey, though, is ready to get them, and they only get 1. Maybe all that man defense in the first half is really coming back to bite us in the you-know-what, because our guys are struggling a little bit more in coverage than we're used to. They go with the run here. You've got to be kidding me. Our guys are trying everything. DeMel Hill gets destroyed, looking like an absolute true freshman. Willie Porter picks up 12. Embarrassing is what I would call our defense and our offensive efforts on these past few drives. They go with the read option. It's been honestly killing us, and they're still finding positive gain. We started off so well in the beginning of the game, and look, if you want to beat a team like a top 10 team like Nebraska, you have got to make sure you lock up for all 4 quarters, not just 2. 2's not going to win you anything. Trying to get the crowd into it. We need every single person in the stadium rooting for Cascade Valley at the moment. We're going to sit with the pass. We're waiting for the QB scramble. This man has literally 6 days to throw it, and he finds an open target. Jeremy Gross can't cover him. There's a flag on the play. I'm going to hope that it's holding, because if it's not, we're in absolute shambles.
Illegal touching. Offense.
That's great. The receiver was out of bounds, came back in, and good Lord, we're going to accept that. This has been an extremely tough game, a game that we obviously want to make sure we come out on the right side of it, but we've got to play a whole lot better if we're going to come out on the right side of this game. Thornton, we were trying to go to A. We unfortunately could not get it over to A. Deep in our own territory, 2nd and 20. We're getting over here to Stewart. Stewart's going to cut off. He runs into his own man, though, and it's only 4 yards. We needed a whole lot more. This offense not too long ago was absolutely dominating, but now we just look pedestrian. Thornton literally slips in the rain. You're kidding me? And he goes down. What is going on with Cedric Thornton right now? My man slipped in the rain and then just got destroyed. Help this man. Nebraska knows the third quarter is winding down. They've got the lead. They've been in charge today, and we just cannot stop this run game in the second half. They have run so many times, we've just not been able to stop it. Nebraska with 2 guys in the backfield this time alongside Gillette. The blocking's been superb today, but Tim Wade with a big hit. Start of the 4th quarter, we got to set the tone here. Do not let Nebraska keep pushing this ball down the field like they have been. A little RPO, I would say PTO. Little RPO, and that goes for 12. Wade's going to be over there in coverage. Trying to send the blitz. We got the blitz there, but they are still finding ways to get 5 positive yards on a blitz. Our defensive line is doing nothing. This game is highly important. We've got multiple recruits visiting this week. I don't know if we're really meeting any of the requirements we need to get those guys pretty happy about coming here potentially. And look at this. Porter's going to go for another one. Porter with the best blocking I have seen all game. He had a 12-yard run earlier. He gets 25 this time in the end zone. The team comes out with Kendrick as the quarterback. We're finding that Thornton actually has a rib contusion, and he's sort of not sure if he's going to be able to play for the next drive or so. So we're trying to get him medical attention, and Kendrick is coming in the meantime. We're hoping we're going to see some of Big Game Joe right now, because he's honestly been a major part of this offense when he's come in and made some big plays that have honestly been Sports Center worthy in my opinion. Kendrick is out here running for his life, which is the one thing our QBs can do, considering our offensive line is not trying to block at all. The good news is we're only down 11. We don't have to be in chuck-it mode where we're trying to pass the ball nonstop every 5 seconds. We can just take our time. Not too much time, but just try to get down the field in some way positive. Barr has been held to a paltry 62 yards on 17 attempts, not 70 attempts, 17 attempts. This man has just been held pretty much in check. Kendrick launches one. He's got a guy, and that one is off the hands of Williams. So close. Kendrick has a pretty good arm. He was trying to show it right there. He's back here again. He's got a guy underneath. He's going to find Williams in the middle. He's going to pick up Big Game. Again, 5 minutes and some change. We got all of our timeouts. We are not out of this game just yet. We can absolutely come back and win this game at home with this crowd, with this team. We know what we can do. Oh, no. Kendrick pitches it backwards. There's no one there to get it. He goes back and dives on it, but what are we doing? That could quite possibly be the worst option playing Cascade Valley history. You hate to see it. Kendrick makes an adjustment here. 2nd and 21 after that almost terrible play that went for literally nothing, and you just see the blocking. It's not there. I'd argue that if we can get some yardage here, we're definitely in what I would consider 4-down territory. Kendrick is beyond gas. We're just trying to get a little bit of yardage here, and Willis does get something to make it 4th and manageable. We could potentially try to kick a field goal, but I don't know if our guy can really hit it from here. It is pretty deep. We don't want to quite risk it in the rain, so we're going to see if we can go for it here and pick this gain up. Kendrick floats one. Willis is going to get it. We haven't seen him in a while, but he picks up a big gain. It feels like with the defense on their heels a little bit, so we're going to take our time. Or not take our time. We're going to go right back to a hurry up. Kendrick immediately feels the pressure. He's rolling. He's got one guy that can potentially block for him. Kendrick is going down the sideline. He's out of bounds, but he gets first and goal on a 15-yard run. You love to see it. Stewart's in the game this time for Barr. Kendrick is absolutely gassed. We want to obviously avoid him having a run anymore. Stewart's going to get himself inside the 5. 4 minutes left in the game. Kendrick still with Stewart in the backfield. Stewart finds nothing, a loss of 1. That was Deshaun Love on the tackle. He's had a great game so far for Nebraska. Kendrick and Barr here, trying to get into the end zone. Kendrick's going to have to keep it. He's up the middle. I believe he got in. They say he did it. It's 4th and goal. What is going on? We tried for one time on 4th down and ended up working our way. This is a play we haven't run in God knows how long, but we needed to see if we can run it. Barr gets the handoff, goes out to the outside. He's in. We have cut the lead down to single digits. Do we go for 2 here, though? Coach Mervin McMervin opts to go for 2 here as well. He's going to try the same play, but to flip it to the right-hand side so he can catch him off guard. Nebraska is completely caught off guard by that. Barr goes in. We've cut the lead now to 3. Defense, it's on you all of a sudden. Can our team get the stop that we know they need to get? Coleman gets a big first tackle here, but they still find 4. Coleman again watching the middle. Got our lineman pinching in a little bit. Gillette's going to make a little bit of an adjustment here. You got to imagine they're going to try to run the clock out as much as they can, but we want to save our timeouts because we know we're going to wind the clock down, and we're going to need those timeouts for offense or potentially to get a stop on defense. Play clock goes down inside 5 this time. Again, we're waiting for the run. They end up not going for the run. They go for a pass. It is a one-handed catch by Ben Stevens. Are you kidding me? We actually just found out that Sean Stewart has a strained shoulder. He's going to be out for a little bit. We don't expect to see him back anytime soon, but on offense, it means Jason Barr's got to carry the full load as we try to march in the field yet again. Nebraska now under 2 minutes. We're going to start using our timeouts here. Hopefully we can get a stop. We're imagining a run's coming up as the play clock drops down to 3. They don't go for it. Gillette's trying to run. Lowe gets a big hit. That's the first sack we've gotten in God knows how long. Big play coming up. We did use our first timeout on that play. We're bringing a guy over. We thought the QB might have went with it, but he didn't. It's 3rd and 7. This is huge. McMervin knows we have to get a stop. This is your ball game right here. Can your team lock in and get a stop when they need it the most? They go to the sideline. They've got a guy. And we're calling a timeout, but we just probably gave up a play that's going to seal our fate. That blown coverage was on Tim Wade. Again, he's not the greatest guy in coverage. He hasn't really spent a ton of time, before this season being a starter. And it absolutely shows. Nebraska is still running plays. At least they're not in the victory formation right now. They are chewing the heck out of the clock. Trying to get a stop, and that just sealed the deal. Kenny Sapp, the sophomore running back, the 82 overall, has ruined our day. A challenging season, to say the least. I can't remember the last time we lost 2 games at home in the same season. Honestly, it's been a minute. Nebraska was an absolute great team in the second half, an abysmal team in the first half, and we just weren't good enough at all in the second half, and it showed. Recapping the passing stats today, we see Kendra go 3 for 4, 54 yards when obviously Thornton was out for a little bit. Thornton was 11 for 19, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, sacked multiple times, and honestly ran for his life from the offensive line, who didn't block at all. We see Bargo for 63 on 18 attempts and 2 touchdowns. Thornton at 35, again running for his life a lot today. Kendrick had 15 on his 5 runs. Stewart ran for negative yards, as did Riley. On the receiving game, Jeremy Willis was a monster in the first half, and we just couldn't get enough time to pass in the ball in the second half. Stewart at 35. We see Baker have 20, but again, no one had a single receiving touchdown this afternoon. From a defensive side, Tim Wade had 7 tackles, but was abysmal in coverage. We're going to see Coleman have 5, as well as Matthew Fowler. From a sack perspective, we only had 1 today. That was Stephen Lowe. Interceptions, we only had 1 today. That was Dwayne Cole, which was kind of inconsequential towards the end of the half. It's not that the defense was terrible. They only gave up 24 points, but it just felt like when they needed to get a stop, they couldn't. When it didn't matter as much, they were getting stops. But really, we're so used to the offense being dominant and putting up points. When we don't put up points, this defense, it relies on them, and that's a little bit of a dicey situation. We'll try to do better. We'll go back to the drawing board, but I'm a little afraid to see how just far would we drop. Is it out of the top 10? Is it into the top 15? Who knows at this point? But at the end of the day, we'll keep fighting and we'll figure things out. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. Catch you guys on the next one.